It looks like Donald Trump has done everything possible to hide his connection to Jeffrey Epstein and the crimes they carried out together. But there is actually one thing he has held back from doing until now. And it's shaking his entire administration. No matter how many times Pam Bandy messes up or how many scandals Kash Patel creates, Trump has stayed somewhat loyal. Of course, that loyalty is only to protect himself, to keep the truth buried, and to keep people from focusing on the scandal. But that's all about to change because a new bombshell has just blown open this Epstein cover-up, and it's bringing exactly the attention Trump has been desperate to avoid. We're going to break it all down. The fall guy about to drop a resignation bombshell and everything that comes with it. Before we get into it, please leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because it really supports our work. Now, before diving into the bombshell shaking this entire cover-up, I want to start with the latest updates from Congressman Jamie Raskin.
The same judges who refused to waive the 6E protections for those materials are now saying that under the federal law passed by Congress, they must turn it over with dispatch without any delay while protecting the privacy and the confidentiality of the victims. So these judges are very strictly implementing the legislative intent behind the statute.
We're seeing today Donald Trump try to run that play again that he tried to run in the Epstein file 6 months ago, telling reporters that story's dead, that story's over. He's trying to do the same thing now with that second missile strike that some legal experts are calling murder in the Caribbean.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about self-protection. The same kinds of things he, of course, accused other presidents of doing, he's actually doing. It's a massive projection, and it's the same thing here. I mean, he was the one who went out with all of his people and said, we want to see the full Epstein files. They're the ones who promoted the whole QAnon story about a power elite trafficking in children and human flesh. And what do you know? That power elite is the one that Donald Trump knew integrally well because he was Jeffrey Epstein's best friend. And the truth is going to come out now under this law. And there is a tremendous momentum behind the disclosure, not just of the grand jury records, but of all of the discovery materials. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of documents that are going to be released.
You know, I keep flashing forward these days, and I'm flashing forward a year, which I shouldn't do. I shouldn't try to be predictive in politics, especially in this era. But with all the polls indicating that the Democrats are going to win the House of Representatives in the next election, I'm imagining that year from now, when you're taking over the chairmanship of the House Judiciary Committee, and what you would have the power to investigate, including what is going on with all the contracts that are being awarded in the immigration sector and the imprisoning of people involved in all of these immigration maneuvers that the Trump administration is doing. You will be in the position to conduct those investigations.
Well, let's hope so. Of course, I'm out on the road every weekend, Lawrence. I'm in Ohio, Florida, Texas, New Jersey. We're campaigning hard, and these amazing victories you're seeing around the country are just the beginning. They're the groundswell that is going to hit a tidal wave crest in November of next year. So we're just building now.
It is obvious that a cover-up is happening right now, and I think one of the biggest signs that there is a cover-up is amid all of the scandal, all of the failure, all of the screw-ups, what Megyn Kelly or Megyn R. Kelly would deem a PR disaster because she doesn't care about the innocent children who had their lives destroyed by Trump and Epstein. She just cares about the president's PR during all of this. There has been no fall guy, no one blamed, no one fired. And I think that's because Trump knows how much attention that would bring. That person would then have to speak out. Why did they fail in their role releasing the Epstein files? How could one person have so much control? A million questions would be raised if Kash Patel was let go, if Pam Bandy was fired. But there's someone just right below them who is about to face some very tough questions himself, as it is looking like the end for the podcaster turned deputy director of the FBI, Dan Bongino, and it is once again creating real controversy and questions in the Epstein cover-up. Trump's fall guy over botched Epstein files handling revealed. Donald Trump has reportedly zeroed in on FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino as the likely fall guy over the Epstein files fiasco. Bongino could be out any day, according to Rachel Bade's Inner Circle Substack newsletter, which reports that the former Secret Service agent and Fox News host angered senior staff with his handling of the saga over FBI documents related to the late pedophile. Bade writes that Bongino clashed with Attorney General Pam Bandy and refused to show up to work for a time, adding, "The expectation is that he'll leave eventually." Bongino, who was appointed to the post in March, had previously pushed Epstein conspiracy theories and called for full disclosure when he was a MAGA podcaster. The report comes amid a spate of insider intrigue stories that Bade reports Trump 79 has privately mocked, firing Christie. "I love Christie," the president told a top aide when asked about Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. According to former Politico White House reporter in her account, Trump publicly defended his embattled principles this week. Bade adds that, despite noisy speculation about broader firings, Trump is not planning a cabinet clear-out, and the rumored shakeup may amount to just one ouster, Bongino, who of course is not even a cabinet member. There's been a lot of talk about firings, and with all the turnover in Trump's first administration, it wouldn't be surprising. But the reason I think the Bongino shakeup will end as a resignation is because he already has the perfect excuse ready. Every time he's on Fox, he talks about how much he misses his ex-wife, an interesting angle, and how hard going to work is for him. If you've seen the clip, we've played it on the show. He complains that he's just sitting in an office, in a cubicle, surrounded by walls. It's not like he's trapped in a padded cell in a straitjacket. Though honestly, considering the conspiracies he spreads, that might not be the worst place for Dan Bongino. But he's simply upset that he has to work at all. That's why I think a resignation is coming. We also know there's another deputy director at the FBI. Bongino isn't the only one. So it would make sense for him to step aside. It would make sense for Trump to pin some of this baggage on him. And of course, Donald Trump has zero loyalty to Dan Bongino. He'd happily toss him aside. But this shakeup matters, because it signals that the fractures within Trump's circle are deepening. And even though we aren't talking about the Epstein files nearly as much as we should, the pressure is absolutely weighing on the administration. Remember, there's a December 19th deadline. A deadline that was passed by Congress and signed by Trump himself just weeks ago. So naturally, Pam Bandy is feeling the heat, and it looks like that pressure is falling directly onto Dan Bongino. I wouldn't be shocked if he announces his resignation right around Christmas, hoping it gets buried in the holiday news cycle. This is Trump's playbook. Get rid of anyone who threatens the cover-up, and Bongino fits that category perfectly. He's the same guy who basically admitted the FBI was deeply involved in this scandal, whose leaked emails showed just how much time was spent removing Trump's name from documents to keep everything clean for dear leader. So it's no surprise he's on the way out for many reasons, but of course he's not the only one involved in a cover-up within Trump's wider administration. The Hegseth cover-up and the lies Trump is telling to protect his embattled Secretary of Defense were all laid out in this clip right here.
Term in the White House, Donald Trump was quoted by unnamed sources who were constantly leaking what Donald Trump was saying in private, and one of the quotes attributed to him was Donald Trump referring to African countries where he has never been, using the worst, dirtiest term he could think of for those countries. It's the kind of language I've heard from hardcore racists my whole life. I knew he was lying in 2018 when he denied using those words. And last night in Pennsylvania, the man who doesn't drink sounded as drunk as the racists you can hear saying things like this in the safety of their neighborhood bars.
Hellholes like Afghanistan, Haiti, Somalia, and many other countries. I didn't say shithole, you did. Remember I said that to the senators, they came in, the Democrats. They wanted to be bipartisan. So they came in and they said, this is totally off the record. Nothing mentioned here. We want to be honest because our country was going to hell. And we had a meeting. And I say, why is it we only take people from shithole countries, right?
It's not news that Donald Trump is a racist. It's not news that Donald Trump, who was documented to have told over 30,000 lies in his first term in office, is a pathological liar. It's not news that Donald Trump is a vile, ugly stain on American public life. What we are seeing now is a very sick man in mental and physical deterioration who seems to have no capacity left to remember what he's already lied about, what he's already denied, and has less and less public control over the poisonous racism that seethes inside him and oozes out of him. He is a poison that children should not be exposed to. We don't know much about the oil tanker that Donald Trump seized off the coast of Venezuela today, and it turns out, according to him, he doesn't either.
Can you explain a little more about this Venezuelan oil tanker and share a little more information?
Well, I'll let the people do it, but you see the result, and I guess they probably have released the pictures by now or pretty soon. You'll discuss that with the appropriate people later on, but no, it was seized for a very good reason.
We have never heard what that very good reason was from Donald Trump today. No other president would have treated news like that. No other president would have said, oh, it was a very good reason, and leave it at that. And what about the oil?
What happens to the oil on that ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
We keep it, I guess. I don't know, he said. He doesn't know.
Donald Trump can't escape this one because he's already admitted he saw everything. I don't know how he plans to pretend he wasn't president in a clip where the president literally says he witnessed it, but he's going to try. This is classic Trump-style cover-up behavior, but this time it's falling apart, especially because a few Republicans are surprisingly showing interest in real accountability, which might be the biggest shock of all. We're going to keep calling these people out. We're going to keep investigating. We're going to keep pushing back. If you want to support that, you can hit the subscribe button, leave a like on the video, and if you stayed to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.